Welcome back to Historic Coins Vault, where iconic U.S. coin series come to life. Today, we're exploring the Jefferson nickel series, from wartime issues to key dates and rare varieties that tell the story behind this long-running series. Keep watching, because this series holds more valuable surprises than most collectors realize. So on. Top 1. Today we are talking about the 1964 Jefferson nickel. Millions of people have handled this coin, but very few realize how surprisingly valuable it can become under the right circumstances. What appears to be an ordinary 5-cent piece can sometimes be a silent treasure worth far more than anyone expects. The year 1964 was a turning point in U.S. minting history. Coins were disappearing from circulation due to the rising price of silver, and the mint was under pressure to produce enormous quantities of coins to keep up with national demand. Although the Jefferson nickel doesn't contain silver, it was produced in record numbers that year. But with high production came high stress on machinery, which led to mistakes that collectors now treasure. One of the most famous and beloved rarities from this year is the doubled die. When the die used to strike the coin shifts even slightly during preparation, the design can appear doubled. On certain 1964 nickels, the lettering, date, or even Jefferson's profile displays this shadow-like doubling. The stronger the doubling, the more astonishing the coin becomes. These aren't manufacturing defects, they're frozen moments of minting history, and collectors compete fiercely to own strong examples. Another thrilling rarity is the off-center strike. If the blank planchet isn't positioned correctly, the design shifts toward one side, leaving a blank crescent of metal. A dramatic off-center strike that still shows the full date can transform a plain coin into a unique collectible. Each off-center example is one of a kind, and some of the most dramatic ones command extraordinary prices. The 1964 Jefferson nickel is also known for its die cracks and cuts, raised lines and lumps caused by aging dies. These natural fractures can stretch across Jefferson's face or create bold, unusual shapes along the edge of the coin. Large cuts are especially desirable because they show a dramatic collapse of part of the die, giving the coin a bold and unmistakable appearance. For error collectors, die breaks are like fingerprints. No two are exactly alike, but the error that sends collectors into a frenzy is the wrong planchet strike. Once in a great while, a Jefferson nickel is struck on a blank meant for another denomination. A 1964 nickel struck on a cent planchet, dime planchet, or leftover blank from another series stands out immediately because it's lighter, smaller, or a different color entirely. These wrong planchet errors are extremely rare, and when authenticated, they can become the most valuable nickels from that entire year. Condition also plays a massive role. Most 1964 nickels have seen decades of circulation, scratched, worn, and dulled by time. So when one appears in exceptional mint state condition, shining with full luster and razor-sharp details, it stands apart from the ordinary. Combine that kind of condition with a rare mint error, and its value can rise far beyond what collectors usually expect from a humble 5-cent coin. Among the rarest discoveries ever made, one extraordinary 1964 Jefferson nickel stunned the collecting world. With its remarkable condition and an exceptional error that set it apart from ordinary circulation pieces, it achieved a price that coin lovers still talk about today. It sold for an incredible $85,000. Top 2. The coin we are talking about, 1969 United States 5-cent coin. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary Jefferson nickel, the kind you'd expect to find in an old jar of loose change. But for collectors who know what to look for, the 1969 nickel hides secrets, surprises, and rare minting mistakes that have transformed some of these coins into incredible treasures. What makes this year so special is not just its age, but the combination of mint conditions, production stress, and rare errors that only appear in a tiny fraction of these nickels. During 1969, the U.S. Mint was still working hard to restore coin circulation after the shortages of the mid-1960s. Production was high, and machines were pushed to their limits. Whenever that happens, unusual errors start appearing, errors that today's collectors hunt like buried treasure. These rare mistakes can turn a coin worth 5 cents into a jaw-dropping collectible worth thousands. One of the most famous and exciting errors from this year is the doubled die. This happens when the die shifts during preparation, creating letters or numbers that look doubled. On the 1969 nickel, the most sought-after double die shows doubling on the date, the motto, or the word liberty. When the doubling is bold enough to see without magnification, collectors know they're looking at something incredibly special. Another major rarity is the off-center strike. These are the coins that weren't properly aligned during the strike, leaving part of the design cut off and part of the blank planchet still showing. A dramatic off-center strike that still preserves the full date is like lightning in a bottle, scarce, visually striking, and highly valuable to collectors who love unusual mint errors. The 1969 nickel is also known for die cracks, cuts, and even retained die breaks. These occur when the die begins to wear or fracture, leaving raised lines or large lumps of metal on the finished coin. Some die cracks stretch dramatically across Jefferson's face or coat, creating eye-catching lines that make each coin completely unique. Cuds, where part of the die breaks away entirely, create bold metal blobs that instantly identify the coin as a rare mint error. These flaws aren't damage, they're natural mint-made quirks that make the coin far more desirable, but one of the most thrilling errors for this year is the wrong planchet strike. Imagine a Jefferson nickel struck on a blank meant for a dime, a cent, or even a foreign coin. The size or color is noticeably different, and the design may appear incomplete because the planchet wasn't the correct size. These wrong planchet errors can be astonishingly rare, and collectors pay huge premiums for them, and of course, condition matters. Most 1969 nickels have been circulating for decades. They've been dropped, scraped, weathered, and worn. But when a rare error coin appears in stunning mint state condition, the value skyrockets. A well-preserved strike with strong luster, razor-sharp details, and a dramatic error can command a price that shocks even experienced collectors. Among the handful of exceptional 1969 5-cent coins discovered over the years, one stood out above the rest. With its extraordinary condition and a spectacular minting error that made it unlike any ordinary nickel, this particular coin reached an astonishing value at auction. It sold for an unbelievable $83,000. Top 3. We are talking Abbey at the 1978 5-cent coin. The year 1978 was a busy production year for the U.S. Mint. Millions of nickels poured out of the machines, and whenever coin presses operate under tight schedules and heavy workloads, unusual errors start creeping in. That's where things get exciting, because rare mint errors are exactly what can transform a common nickel into a highly valuable collectible point. One of the most thrilling discoveries from this year is the dramatic off-center strike. Imagine pulling a nickel from your change and realizing the design isn't centered at all. Jefferson's portrait shifted to the edge, leaving part of the blank metal still exposed. Off-center errors between 10 and 70% are already desirable, but when the date remains visible, collectors know they've found something truly special. Another powerful rarity is the die clash. This happens when the hammer and anvil dies strike each other without a coin between them, imprinting ghostly outlines of the Monticello building onto Jefferson's face, or Jefferson's profile onto the reverse. A strong die clash is instantly eye-catching and makes the coin feel like a piece of minting history frozen in metal. There's also the famous double die variety. When the lettering on the motto, the year, or the words United States of America appears doubled, it means the die shifted during production. Some double dies are subtle, but the bold ones, the ones collectors dream about, can boost the coin's value dramatically. The sharpest examples are true showstoppers. Let's not forget misaligned dies, where one die strikes perfectly while the other shifts slightly, causing the design to lean or tilt. Or coins struck through grease or debris, leaving missing details that make the coin look faded or incomplete. These might look like flaws to the untrained eye, but to enthusiasts, they're clues that the mint machinery slipped for just a moment in a way that created a collectible treasure. Even more exciting are wrong planchet strikes. These are extremely rare and occur when a 1978 nickel is accidentally struck on a blank meant for a dime, a cent, or even a foreign coin. The coin may be smaller, lighter, or the design may extend over the edge of the metal. These errors are some of the most sought-after finds in the world of nickels, and of course, condition matters. A coin with sharp luster, untouched surfaces, and crisp details always commands higher value. Most 1978 nickels have been tossed in jars, rubbed in pockets, and worn down over decades. But when a rare error coin appears in stunning mint state condition, collectors pay unbelievable amounts. Among the incredible finds from 1978, one particular 5-cent coin stood out far beyond ordinary expectations. With its remarkable condition and a rare error that instantly set it apart from millions of others, this special coin reached an outstanding value at auction. It sold for an impressive $79,000. Top 4. We are talking about the humble 5-cent coin, the Jefferson nickel. It's small, ordinary, and so familiar that most people barely look at it. But the 1980 issue carries a world of secrets that only real collectors know how to appreciate. And today, we're going to explore exactly why this unassuming coin can become a powerful prize. Picture this: millions of nickels pouring out of the mint's presses, each one supposed to be identical, each one meant to slip into circulation unnoticed. But coin lovers know one simple truth: nothing in mass production is perfect. And when perfection slips, rarity appears. That is the heart of value, and the reason certain 1980 nickels are worth far more than anyone would expect. Point 1. Of the most dramatic errors from this year is the off-center strike. Imagine holding a nickel where Jefferson's portrait slides dangerously toward the rim, leaving part of the blank metal untouched. The more off-center the strike, the more dramatic the appearance. And if the date remains visible, the coin becomes a literal prize waiting to be discovered. Another treasure is the double die variety. This happens when the die shifts slightly between impressions, causing the letters in Liberty, the date, or the inscriptions on Monticello to appear doubled. For collectors, that doubling is like a signal flare, an instant sign that the coin is special, rare, and worth closer inspection. Then there are die cracks. These small lines running across the surface of the coin come from aging or damaged dies. They look like tiny lightning bolts frozen into the metal, and depending on their location and clarity, they can significantly boost the coin's value. Strong die cracks or die breaks give the coin a rugged, dramatic appeal that collectors love. Point 1. Of the most exciting possibilities is the wrong planchet strike. Imagine an American nickel mistakenly struck on a blank meant for a dime or even a coin from another country. The size is wrong, the weight is off, and the design stretches in unexpected ways. These are incredibly rare, and whenever they surface, they attract serious attention from experts. That we also must mention coins struck through grease. When machinery gets clogged, parts of the design simply fail to appear on the coin, leaving smooth, ghost-like areas. These mysterious, incomplete details might seem like flaws, but in the world of numismatics, they are valuable minting mistakes that turn ordinary coins into true collectibles. And of course, condition matters. A 1980 nickel that has survived more than 4 decades without scratches, without wear, and with brilliant luster is already rare. Combine that with an error or unusual feature, and you've got a coin that can shock even seasoned collectors. Among the astonishing discoveries from this year, one exceptional 1980 Jefferson nickel, featuring a powerful mint error and preserved in remarkable condition, reached a stunning value at auction. It sold for an extraordinary $76,000. Top 5. We are diving deep into the coin that looks so ordinary, so common, that millions of Americans handled it every single day without imagining that a few rare survivors from that year would turn into true collector treasures. But for coin lovers, the thrill is in the details, and the 2001 nickel has some fascinating details to uncover. Picture the year 2001. The United States Mint was producing coins at full speed, striking nickels for everyday transactions. Tens of millions rolled into circulation, but as always, not every coin came out exactly as planned. And when the mint makes a mistake, collectors win. Hidden among the countless coins of that year are a handful of extraordinary pieces that became far more desirable than anyone expected. Let's start with one of the most dramatic minting errors, the off-metal strike. This happens when a nickel's design accidentally lands on a planchet meant for a completely different coin. The size, weight, and thickness become unusual, and the design looks stretched or distorted. These oddities are so rare that every discovery becomes a headline in the numismatic world. Another exciting variety from 2001 is the off-center strike. Imagine pulling a coin from your pocket and noticing that Jefferson's portrait is shifted dramatically to one side, revealing a large blank curve of metal on the opposite edge. If the date remains intact and the off-center strike is severe, the value can skyrocket, but the surprises don't stop there. A number of 2001 nickels display die cracks and die breaks, those dramatic raised lines caused by worn or damaged dies. Some cracks appear like lightning streaks across Jefferson's face or around Monticello, giving the coin a unique and striking appearance. These natural mint mistakes are loved by collectors, because no two are exactly alike. Double die varieties are also known in this series. If you find doubling in the word Liberty, the date, or the inscriptions above Monticello, you may be holding a premium collectible. Doubling adds visual depth, like a shadow frozen in metal, and instantly increases a coin's desirability. Struck-through errors also add to the excitement. When grease, cloth fibers, or debris get between the die and the planchet, parts of the design appear faint, missing, or distorted. These unusual effects make the coin look mysterious, almost like a misprinted banknote, and collectors absolutely love these rare quirks. Of course, condition is everything. Most 2001 nickels have lived tough lives in cash registers, pockets, and vending machines. But the ones preserved in pristine condition, with full luster and sharp definition, already stand apart. Add just one rare error to that condition, and the coin becomes a standout treasure. And now for the moment every collector waits for. Among the rarest and most sought-after examples of the 2001 Jefferson nickel, one extraordinary piece, featuring a powerful error and exceptional preservation, stunned collectors when it reached a value of $74,000. That if you're passionate about coins and curious about what's hidden in your pocket change, make sure to like and subscribe. We post regular coin finds, value tips, and collecting guides. Join the adventure and grow your collection with us.